We at ACES understand that this is a very difficult time for everybody, and we just want to make sure that we provide you with the appropriate information so that your substance use does not impact your ability to stay healthy and well during the COVID-19 crisis. So let's talk about mental health. There are many reasons that people use substances to try and cope with mental health concerns. Some of those reasons might be to reduce anxiety and stress, lift your mood, increase relaxation, better your sleep, and maybe even increase your ability to study and focus. However, substances might actually be damaging your ability to accomplish these things. Substances often suppress your mental health concerns. So, for example, if you drink alcohol to try and cope with anxiety, it doesn't make the anxiety go away. All it does is suppresses the feelings. However, you might experience rebound anxiety when you sober up, which is where the symptoms of your mental health concerns come back and they're much more intense than they would have been previously. Substances also impact your sleep cycle. REM sleep is very important for your mind to rejuvenate and to process its thoughts and memories. And if you go to sleep under the influence of a substance, your brain does not enter that REM cycle. Consistent use of substances can also increase feelings of helplessness or uselessness and impact your ability to critically think. So this is especially important for people who are trying to work from home or students who are trying to get through their last weeks of the semester. And then also substance use, especially for using it to cope with mental health concerns, can cause dependency. So your brain becomes so reliant on a substance to cope with its mental health that eventually your brain is reliant on substances to just get through the day. So what are some other options for coping? You can go to the Grand Valley Counseling Center website, you can go to YouTube, you can simply just Google some of the things on this list and all these tutorials will pop up. You can try mindfulness exercises like yoga, journaling, or meditation. You can try belly breathing. Progressive muscle relaxation is especially helpful for those who have difficulties falling asleep. Stick to a strict sleep schedule, so make sure you're getting up at the same time every day and going to bed at the same time every day. Organize your studying and just organizing your schedule in general, especially during a time where you might not have a lot of consistency. And self-care. Whatever that means to you, this is probably one of the most important things. Whether it's going on a run or watching Netflix or doing a craft or taking a nap, make sure you do what you need to do to try and keep yourself happy and calm. So let's talk about the physical impacts of substance use. So right now, especially in the midst of this pandemic, it's very important that you're increasing your vitamin C and D, keeping your airways healthy, especially since COVID-19 is a respiratory illness. Get some exercise, wash your hands, and try and avoid contact with others that are outside of your immediate household. Different substances may make it very difficult for you to maintain these healthy habits. So, for example, alcohol is a diuretic. So it flushes healthy nutrients and vitamins like vitamin C and D out of your system. Alcohol also affects your protein. It increases your heart rate and blood pressure. And since those are symptoms of anxiety and stress, if you have increased heart rate and blood pressure, it can actually trigger anxiety. And also at high amounts, alcohol can cause vomiting, blackouts, loss of consciousness, coma, and death. Marijuana can also be quite dangerous, and there are misconceptions that marijuana is safer than cigarettes when you're smoking it, and that's not true. Marijuana, when smoked, causes 3 times more carcinogens than cigarettes, so basically the things that burn the insides of your lungs. Also, marijuana, especially because there's a lot of change in laws right now, there's not a lot of regulation. So if you're buying from a dispensary, you can't guarantee what you're getting. And if you're not buying from a dispensary, you have no idea where that marijuana is coming from, who's been in contact with it, if something else got put into it. And for the sake of contamination, right now is a really good time to limit your use. Marijuana also causes munchies, which increases your cravings for really high calorie and fatty foods. Marijuana can cause reduced immunity and also increased heart rate. And then vaping is another substance that we like to point out. There's a misconception that this is not a substance, but vapes contain nicotine and sometimes THC, and this is becoming a popular substance used by college students. So vaping-associated pulmonary illness, or VAPI, is a respiratory infection that is caused from vaping. Vaping also causes high blood pressure and high heart rate, nausea, and it also does a lot of damage to your mouth and throat. And then finally, stimulants and study drugs. So stimulants are things like cocaine or psychedelics like ecstasy or MDMA. Study drugs are things like Adderall and Ritalin, but they often have very similar effects. So intense increased heart rate and blood pressure, nausea, sometimes seizures, coma, loss of consciousness, and even paranoia, hallucinations, and dysphoria. So, if you have used substances already during this time, or you are trying to change your habits, the best things you can do are to take a break, try and lower your tolerance. So this means lowering the amount of substance you use and the frequency that you use it. Try and replenish lost nutrients, especially with alcohol, because alcohol flushes all good things out of your body. Make sure you replenish all the vitamins and minerals that you're losing, and do not take other substances. It is very common that people will try and take a depressant, for example, after they've taken a stimulant to try and regulate their blood pressure and their heart rate. Do not do that. Please try and avoid mixing substances. Okay, so let's talk about your environmental transition. So we understand that a lot of students have been relocated, and this might put a lot of strain on your substance use habits. So for example, you might have had pretty consistent substance use at Grand Valley. You might have even had a dependency or an addiction, and now you're at a place where you cannot access substances, or you can't use substances. So if that's your situation, you might experience withdrawal. Please be mindful if you are experiencing withdrawal or if others are experiencing withdrawal. It is sometimes a very uncomfortable situation. So please use your support systems to help you get through that. And the worst thing you can do with withdrawal is to try and reuse your substances, because the next time you quit, withdrawal will be even longer. Make sure you find alternatives. At ACES, for example, we make mocktails, which taste delicious. They're really fun to make. There's just no alcohol in them. Utilize your support systems, whether that's your friends or your family, and keep yourself occupied. That's one of the best ways to avoid substance use. Now, if your change has been different and you're actually around more substances than you usually are at Grand Valley, there's a couple things you can do. Try and create a space for yourself where you can be alone. If that's not possible, do as much as you can to get time alone, whether that's just going on a walk by yourself. Try and separate yourself from that environment. If you feel comfortable, don't be afraid to have a conversation about the substance use. Make sure you stay busy, and don't forget, it is your right to say no to substances. Now let's talk finally about boredom. Boredom is probably one of the leading causes to substance use. And I know it might seem impossible to stay busy during this time because just so much is closed and changed. But here are some things that I have found have worked. Get outdoors as much as you can. Try and soak up some of that vitamin D and that sunlight. Try a new craft. Do virtual game night or movie nights. Try getting as much exercise in as possible. Stay in touch. That is the beauty of technology. Stay in touch with your family, your friends, your classmates. Experiment with cooking or food. Help your community. There are so many things going around right now to help make masks for hospitals or donate to food drives. That's a great way to stay busy. And there's much more. You just have to be creative. So we appreciate the struggle and the change that everybody is going to right now. You can go to gvsu.edu/coronavirus. This is a great website if you just want to stay up to date on everything going on, especially with our institution. There's a lot of resources listed there. Here are the resources for the Counseling Center and ACES. Here's our social media. We post things to social media, such as tricks to cut back, tricks to stay busy. So thank you so much, Lakers, and I'm so proud of the Laker community. Stay strong, stay well, and stay healthy.